Welcome to my channel 2+4. My name is Janice, and today I'm going to be talking about the reasons why we decided not to move to the Netherlands. Now, a little bit of background information. We have pre-COVID been going to the Netherlands every single year for about the last 5 years or so. We enjoy it. We really like it there, to be honest with you. And we were just sitting down one day and we thought to ourselves, why not? I know that seems like such a flippant reason, but we just thought, why not? We fancied doing something different. So we done a whole load of research into, the reasons why it would be good to move there, the negatives as well. And we thought, okay, let's go for it. The kids were happy enough to make that transition from school in the UK to school in the Netherlands. Now, they're varying ages. For example, the youngest one is 10 or was 9 at the time. And the oldest one is 17 now. So they would have been at totally different stages in their education over there. Now, there was quite a few positives actually in terms of why we decided that we'd like to move there. I wrote a few notes down just so I didn't kind of go off track. Good schools. Now, I found that the schools, when I did do my research, I found that the schools were really good actually. Another thing that I liked about the schools is the fact that you learn a language. Now, we live in the UK, so of course, our first language is English. My husband speaks Portuguese fluently, but unfortunately the kids don't speak it. So for them, the fact that they possibly, or not possibly, they would have picked up another language, that was such a big plus for us. It would have just been amazing for them to be able to speak fluently in Dutch. Also, the schools, when I did my research, they ranked really high, actually. Even the universities as well, because where our daughter's 17 years of age, she's looking for universities soon. And I found that the universities on the world ranking, they came really high. So that was a big positive. And also the fact that the universities as well, they're really cheap. Over here, your tuition fees are like £9,000 a year, but over there you can get your tuition fees for maybe a grand and a half. So that's such a fraction of the price, and you're getting like a top class education as well. So you can't really fault that, to be honest with you. So that was a big plus. The girls, they would have done kind of like an equivalent to a GCSE stroke A level. It was called a VWO, the letters VWO. I can't remember what it actually stands for, but yeah, it was called a VWO. And that after doing that, it would take you to university. Now, I guess it's kind of like GCSEs and A levels in one, but thank God after we liaised with a school, we managed to get them into schools that they would just go and walk straight into doing their VWO. Now, the only disadvantage with that is that ultimately their school exams would have to be done in Dutch. There was no way that they could sit their exams in English, which kind of like is slightly to a disadvantage, whereby they haven't got any knowledge of Dutch whatsoever. So they would have had to have worked really hard to try and get their Dutch language up to a standard where they were comfortable enough to, one, read the exam, and two, to answer it as well. Now, with the younger kids, or my son, should I say, he's 10, as I said, he would have went into a school that, kind of like a school attached to a school. It would have been teaching him the Dutch language, because they always say that in order to, do maths or to do this or to do that, you need to know the language first. So he would have went into that kind of provision that would have, it would have been for, I think, like a year or something like that. And at the end of that, he should have been fluent 100% in Dutch. I mean, of course, it depends upon each and every child. So maybe he would have been, maybe he wouldn't have been. But regardless of what, he would have had a better understanding of it so that he could have joined the mainstream class and just continued on throughout the years with the education. Now, that would have gone for any child. They would rarely have to join the other class first. I think they call it a talkless. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, it just basically means that they'll learn Dutch intensively for a year and then be placed into the mainstream school, which is quite a good idea, actually, I guess. It just gets them to a certain level faster. So yeah, I mean, you can't complain. It's not really bad, to be honest with you. It's not a bad thing. Another reason why we liked the Netherlands is because it's generally safe, to be honest with you. You don't really hear a lot of negative things. You don't hear about the knife crime like what you hear over here, or guns and this and that. It's really relatively safe. Like the times we've been there, it's felt so safe. Never had anything happen that I could talk about. We did research it, and it just never come up in terms of like unsafe countries or anything like that. So yeah, that was an absolute positive. How it is for children in terms of there's a lot for them to do as well. I did read, and it said that the Netherlands is apparently home to the happiest kids, and that's really good. I mean, that's a bold statement, and it's been proven as well. I can't remember where I read it, but if you Google that, Netherlands good for kids, then it will come up that, you know, the Netherlands or the Dutch kids are meant to be the happiest kids. So that's really good to hear, because obviously nobody wants an unhappy child. So, you know, kids being kids, if they can have a happy childhood, which all children, you know, it would be good for all kids to have a happy childhood, then yeah, that's a definite positive as well. The mainland location, that was a really big thing as well. You know, we do like to travel, and the fact that the Netherlands is on the mainland Europe, it's so amazing. You know, as I said, we're in the UK, we are an island. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but in order for us to go anywhere, we have to, one, take a plane, two, take a ferry, or yeah, ferry driving. What, you're driving on the ferry, aren't you? So yeah, we have to do that. So we can't just literally get in our car and decide, oh yeah, let's go to Paris. Well, we can, but then we have to go through the whole hassle of going on a ferry and booking a ferry or booking a flight. Being on the mainland, it just means that it's that little bit easier to access all these different countries. I mean, the Netherlands is bordering onto Belgium, bordering onto Germany. It's a short distance away from Paris. So you've got all that at your doorstep, and it's amazing when you think of all the things that you could do. I mean, you can jump on a train from Amsterdam and get to the center of Paris in like such a short amount of time. And it's like, where else could you do that type of thing? I mean, I know it's not exclusive to the Netherlands. Obviously, if you're in any country on mainland Europe, then you've got that kind of access, which is amazing. So that was a definite plus, because it would be so good. Imagine you woke up one day and you thought, okay, let me just go to Germany quickly and get something, or let me go to Germany and go to a Christmas market, for example, at Christmas time. You know, these are things that it would be nice to be able to do. So yeah, that was like definitely an advantage that we obviously would have loved to have done. The wages. Now, we were looking for work, of course, and we found that the wages were pretty good, actually, to be honest with you. Of course, there's varying different jobs, and there are different wages, but overall, we found that the wages were pretty good. Yeah, I mean, good wages, good quality of living. Yeah, that was all things that attracted us to want to live there. We wanted to go. The kids were really excited about going. We had their schools lined up. I'd spoke to like the head teachers of the schools, sent in all the applications. Everything was fine, done and dusted. But we hit a snag when it came to trying to secure accommodation. The Netherlands is so overcrowded and oversaturated when it comes to trying to find property, which I didn't know, to be honest with you. I thought it'd just be so simple and easy as, okay, we go, we find a house and that's it. Because our intention was to rent. Initially, we wanted to rent because we wanted to see how we liked, like, for example, one area in comparison to another one. We weren't looking at being in the centre of Amsterdam. That's not where we wanted to be. We wanted to be a little bit further out, closer to where we'd found schools for the children. So that's where we were looking at. And it was just nigh on impossible to find houses. Now, we would find a house, for example, and we'd contact the letting agent, and they'd say, oh, it's gone. Somebody has already, kind of like secured it. You think to yourself, well, this only come out today, the house. How's that even possible? But I think our disadvantage was the fact that we're here. Now, we couldn't have gone over there to look for anything because it was during that kind of period after Brexit, and it was just kind of hard. Like, we wouldn't have been able to go over there. So we were trying to do everything from here. Now, we'd phone them and we'd say to them, can we have a video viewing? And they were really accommodating in terms of that. They'd 100%, they'd do it. They'd send us a video viewing either via WhatsApp, or they would give us the option of being able to be on a FaceTime with them while they go through the house. And if there was anything we wanted to see, if we wanted them to go into another bedroom or something like that, for example, then we could ask them to do that. And that was a really good thing that they were able to offer for us. So that was good. But the only thing is that when it got to the actual, like, we fill in the forms and everything was fine, give them all the ID, because it was quite a long process, quite long-winded to rent a property there, which was okay. I mean, we had everything that we needed. That wasn't an issue, but it was just actually securing it, it was so hard. And ultimately, that was what the problem was. In terms of moving, unfortunately, we couldn't secure a property, and we had a very small window of when we could move, because of the kids, their ages. I mean, they're not old, obviously, but they're in school years. We needed them to, we had kind of like 6 months. If we didn't move within that period of time, then we'd have to call it a day because of the education. Because the oldest girl, she's like, she'd finished her GCSEs, she was starting college. So, we couldn't kind of like keep her off of college while we're still thinking about, oh, okay, let's just take our time and look for a house. No, we needed her to be able to either start college here or start something in the Netherlands. And unfortunately, because we couldn't secure that house, she had no choice but to start college here. And once she started, that was it. We couldn't really go. We can't just up sticks and go when she's in the middle of her course. So that's what it was. We were disappointed, to be honest with you, that we didn't get to move, because we kind of like, even though we made like a rash decision and we were like, oh yeah, should we move? And we were like, yeah, but where we knew what it was like there, we got really excited, to be honest with you. There were so many positives, so many positive reasons. So, I don't want to put anybody off when it comes to thinking about moving there. If you've got younger children, it's perfect, because you've got that time. There's not a time limitation as such as like what we had. So it's probably going to be easier perhaps. But, I'd definitely say if anybody's thinking of doing it, like, go for it. You only live once. You never know. Like, even now, like, sometimes we sit down and we're like, oh, we should have been in the Netherlands now, and this and that, and we do think about it, because we never actually got that closure in terms of, we never found out if the grass was greener or not. So yeah, I guess we're always kind of still gonna wonder, like, would we have had a better life there? Not that our life is bad here, but I'm just saying, would it have been even better over there. It's like we just don't know. Now, another important factor is we are a black family. Now, the times that we've been to the Netherlands before, we've never experienced anything untoward. Like, you know, I know how it can be in some places. I mean, most people have experienced something before, something to make them feel uncomfortable. But I can honestly put my hand on my heart and say that the times that we've been, we've never experienced anything. Now, it could be that I'm not looking for it, or it could be that, I mean, of course, it exists. Racism exists everywhere. Like, I know that, you know, well, not that nobody's immune to it, but it happens. It's one of them things, you know, it happens in every country. You have racism. Now, I'm not saying the Netherlands does not have any. Like, obviously, it's got some, just like the UK has, and any other country as well. But for ourselves, you know, maybe where we haven't actually lived there, we've just been there on a holiday, maybe we've not been there long enough to experience it. I don't know. But I just thought I'd put in there that, you know, it seems very accepting as a country. So, yeah, that's another positive. We've never felt uncomfortable when we've been there. We've always, yeah, we've always liked going there. So it's a shame why we weren't able to move, but ultimately, we never know what the future will bring. So yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. As it goes now, my 17-year-old is thinking of going there for university. As I touched on before, the university tuition fees are next to nothing over there. So how over here you've got a lot of kids that come out of uni and they're like, oh, I mean, so and so tens of thousands of pounds of debt. I mean, if you go to a university in Netherlands, or in fact in a lot of mainland European countries, you if you research it, you see that the fees are nowhere near what they are. Nowhere near what they are here. They're really, really cheap. Like I was looking at Germany last night. I was online and I was looking at Germany, and the courses are free. And the same for Norway as well. I think the university courses are free as well. So that's a definite plus of being on the mainland. Now, like I said, hopefully in the future our circumstances will change. We'll be able to go. But for now, we are in the UK. We're not at a disadvantage. We have lived here all our life. We're used to it. You know, it's nothing negative, nothing bad about it. We just fancy to change. So yeah, we don't hate the UK, but we just, like I said, we wanted something different. But yeah, fingers crossed at some point we'll be able to, you know, experience that different lifestyle, different culture, and living somewhere different. So guys, if you liked my topic today, please like and subscribe. I am going to be putting out more videos. So if you could also hit that notification bell and you'll be notified whenever I bring out a new video, then that'll be great. Thank you so much for watching.